Imagine a canvas filled with the wild imagination of Hieronymus Bosch, or the dramatic scenes from movies like Constantine, hell portrayed in countless ways. Yet, if we peek into the Bible, we won't find the typical hellfire, souls wailing in agony, or monstrous demons. Just like how we came to imagine angels, our concept of hell is a mix of art, theology, and pure imagination over centuries. The ancient Greeks had Tartarus, a punishing afterlife, which influenced Christian artists and thinkers. They also drew from Sumerian myths of Kur, a vast, dreary cave, and the Jewish idea of Sheol, a dark underworld. Later on, Dante Alighieri with his Inferno and John Milton with Paradise Lost shaped our mental picture of hell. Artists like Bosch added their touch too, but as these cultural influences blended, the fiery hell we imagine strays further from what the Bible actually says about it. Let's unravel some common myths about this fiery place. There are people being punished in hell right now. When it comes to the afterlife, there's often confusion about who goes where. Many think once we're gone, it's straight to heaven or the fiery pits of hell. Even kids worry about where loved ones end up, hoping they escape the dreaded lake of fire. But here's the twist. God doesn't rush Judgment Day. According to the Bible, Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, no one's in hell right now except Satan and his crew. Everyone else, from saints to sinners, is just sleeping, waiting for the grand finale of judgment. Let's break down this biblical journey. First stop, death, when we bid farewell to earth. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27. Next, the waiting room, where souls chill until judgment. Yep, some call it hell. Acts chapter 2, verse 27. Then, resurrection, when all unsaved folks get a wake-up call, as seen in Revelation chapter 20, verse 13. The sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Judgment time, the big review based on deeds, as in Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. Finally, the grand finale, unsaved souls face the fiery lake of fire, per Revelation chapter 20, verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Is it immediate for the unsaved to head to hell upon death? Or is that destination reserved for after judgment? I'm sure you can understand my confusion. However, I believe there's a straightforward answer. Hell is eternal. Let's debunk a common misconception about hell. Some people believe it's all about eternal suffering, like enduring fiery torment forever. However, there's a group of theologians who have a different perspective. They follow annihilationism. Annihilationism suggests that after a period of challenge, God essentially resets individuals who can't change their ways. Supporting this idea are verses like Isaiah chapter 5, verse 24, which describes decay and destruction for those who reject God's laws. Now here's where it gets interesting. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, Jesus discusses hell, but it's not about eternal suffering. He says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." This implies more of a complete eradication than everlasting agony, doesn't it? Revelation chapter 20, verse 14 to 15 jumps in with this lake of fire deal, calling it the second death. It's like a permanent goodbye for the wicked, not an eternal torture chamber. Then there's Matthew chapter 25, verse 46, mentioning eternal punishment, but leaving room for interpretation. Some argue it's about ongoing suffering, while others suggest it's the eternal nature of the punishment itself, not the suffering aspect. So it's a bit of a theological puzzle, but exploring these different views is quite fascinating. Satan rules hell. Let's have some fun busting a myth about Satan and hell. You might have heard the tall tale that Satan's the big boss down there, wielding pitchforks and making souls suffer forever. But hold your horses, because that's more fiction than fact. The Bible gives us the real scoop. In Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, it's crystal clear. Satan himself ends up tormented in the lake of fire, not running the show. So where did this idea of Satan ruling hell come from? Famous works like Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy and John Milton's Paradise Lost started the rumor mill. These creative works, along with art and modern novels like Dan Brown's Inferno, imagine Satan as the head honcho of hell, stirring up all sorts of trouble. Dante's wild ride through hell, purgatory, and heaven is like a roller coaster of medieval myths, Catholic beliefs, and even a dash of Islamic traditions, all spun together into a gripping tale. But hey, it's more fantastical than biblical truth. The real MVP? God is the ultimate authority over hell, as Jesus himself reminds us in Luke chapter 12, verse 4-5. The lake of fire is no VIP lounge for Satan. It's a spot for those who reject God, a place of punishment, not a kingdom. As for Satan, he's not kicking back in hell's throne room. He's still wandering between heaven and earth until his final showdown. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12 gives us a sneak peek into Satan's nerves, knowing his time is short but having zero control over hell. He's got a date with judgment there. So next time someone spins the tale of Satan ruling hell, you can give them a playful wink and say, that's more fiction than Bible fact, because in the end, God's got the reins and those riding with him have nothing to fear. Purgatory is an alternative to hell. Let's play detective and debunk the myth of purgatory, a concept often discussed in Catholic tradition. Purgatory is like a waiting room where souls get spruced up before entering heaven. But what's the scoop according to the Bible? First off, the Bible doesn't drop a hint about purgatory. Catholic theologians peek into the Apocrypha, like the book of 2nd Maccabees, for a nod. But hold up, the Apocrypha isn't part of the Protestant Bible, and Jesus and the apostles never name-dropped purgatory or gave a thumbs up to the Apocrypha. The Purgatory Parade started marching around the 4th century, but it's been a bumpy ride in terms of church-wide agreement. By the 16th century, the Council of Trent gave it a nod, but its Bible cred is still up in the air. Checking out the New Testament, Jesus talks about two afterlife options, heaven and hell. Luke chapter 16, verse 19-31. No mention of a pit stop like purgatory. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13-14 backs this up, with Jesus highlighting the narrow road to life and the wide one to destruction. Revelation chapter 20, verse 12-15, seals the deal, spotlighting heaven and hell as the final stops. No middle ground like purgatory in sight. While purgatory might sound like a pit stop, it's missing a key ingredient, a Bible stamp of approval. Christians are called to focus on growing in faith and spreading the good news, not dialing up prayers for the departed whose eternal destiny is already set in stone. What do you think about these myths surrounding hell? Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed debunking these misconceptions with me. See you in our next video.